I need to permanently mount this stuff here onto this boat. But there is one massive problem because this boat is basically one sheet of fiberglass wrapped around a piece of foam. And I really do not want to put any screws into the deck because that will create a location for water to get in. I want to build a lip of starboard that go around this thing that we're going to use to hold them in place on the floor. Glue that to the deck and then put straps from that to over the tank or over the boxes and the fuel tank. Probably use some starboard. I don't know. I don't think a 1/2 inch piece is gonna work. 1/2 inch might work for this. That'll work for that. Ha! A little secret hiding spot. Something more like this. Start building and see where it takes us. These pieces are going to work for this, so I can put one on this side, one on this side, but I am going to need to get another piece to go in between here. I'm going to want to 45 these corners. I'll just need two more pieces for each end, but that's the start of that. This, on the other hand, so I'm wondering if I need something to keep it from going side to side, or if I could just make something on each end of the box and leave this open, but that'll let the tank slide back and forth. So I'm just gonna make the 2 end pieces first. Once my 2 end pieces are made, then I'll figure out what to do with the sides. I don't know, we haven't gotten there yet. Oh yeah, perfect size. That's gonna work for that. Now, for you, I kind of want to do at least 1.5 inches on both sides. If not, 2 inches is what it needs to be. I'm going to cut this whole thing down to 3/4 pieces, cut this thing down into 2-inch pieces. Looking pretty good. There's our box, got our strap in there. Got our corners kind of smoothed over a little bit. Countersunk our screws. So there's our battery box. Now we need to move over here, knock out our fuel tank. Basically we just need to put screws into this and to this. Once those two are together, then we just need to smooth that off, smooth this corner off so that way it's not sharp. You know, you bump your toe or something on that, man, them sharp edges on starboard cut you right open. So we want to make sure we get rid of all the sharp edges, and then we can put both of these in the boat. You always want to make sure you get rid of these things when you're doing something like this. They build up in between the two pieces of starboard, so when you drill through this one and then you start in this one, the shavings from this piece here do not come out the other side. They build up in between the two, so always make sure you get rid of all those little pieces. Something else that I want to show you, just like those little things that build up in there, we can take this off, get all these little things out of here. But when we put this back, we go to screw this in, the screw's going to go through this one and it's going to push out on this one. It's going to leave a gap. So what we're going to do in order to get rid of that gap is we'll screw the screw in all the way, then we're going to screw it all the way out and then push on this one, and then we'll put the screw back in and it'll be flush. So you see that gap there? Now you could just keep running the screw in and try and suck it up, but you run the risk of stripping it out inside the starboard. So opposed to doing that, all we gotta do is back the screw back out and then apply pressure here to push them together, and then when it goes in, it'll hit the threads that it just previously put in there and it'll suck it right up. So no gap. You also want to rough up the back side of it so that way the glue has something really rough to adhere to. That'll give it a good solid bond. So let's take these over there to the boat and stick them down. We got the battery like this, not like this, so that way, because if you put a battery like this, it tips back and forth. It's really tippy. Put it like this, it's more solid, and it doesn't tip as much, you know, with just the dimensions of a battery and putting it long ways like that. I like that position. That's where we're going to put it. Mark a line around it, and then I'll pull the box out, mark a line around the inside so I can scratch it up a little bit, and then we will set it down. I need to get something to sit on top of it though, that way it will push it down while the thing cures. So let me get a rock or a battery or something. Well, in theory that was a good idea, but in reality that might have been a disaster. I got the center blocks on there so that way they can hold it down, but when I pull it up we'll see what the glue looks like, what the overspill looks like, and see if it looks good or not. I mean, that was pretty rough trying to get that thing to sit level on the deck just because the way it is, it's a misshapen piece. Okay, let's take these bricks off and see what this thing looks like now that we've let it sit for a day. Honestly, I think this is going to work out perfect. Dude, this thing is not going to come off. That's perfect, and I really didn't do too terrible of a job cleaning the outside. That's the main thing, is what the outside looks like. But there's a couple, you know, little spots that where it oozed out, but for the most part, that thing's set. That's sweet. Let's go. This is starting to look good back here. This box is gonna work out beautiful. Keep this thing down. I didn't have to put any holes into the floor of the boat, which another spot for water to get in and mess up that foam later on. So that's perfect. We're going to use this to stick it down